Anthony Edwards, it was clear that you wanted the ball in your hands at the end of this game. Take us through this one.
Hold on, let me speak to my man.
All right. He's got someone here he's speaking to.
Welcome to another episode of the Wolf Brothers podcast. We're here with my brother from the same mother, Jake. How you doing, brother?
What it is, brother? Doing pretty good.
What are you eating, dude?
Dude, bafang, some leftover bafang dumplings.
What is bafang?
Bafang is like, how do I explain it? It's like the Taco Bell of Taiwan in the sense of like, you know, it's not the best for you. It's not the worst, but it's not the best, but it always is there for you.
Always hits.
So I got some like spicy pork dumplings and some curry chicken ones, and oh, so good, bro.
That sounds good, man. Well, to our listeners, I just want to apologize. My voice sounds as poor as Julius Randle played against the Lakers. I'm not feeling 100%. So today on the Wolf Brothers, I'm mostly going to tee Jake up, but we thought it was important to get on here because the Wolves are 1-1. It should be better. We should be 2-0. But you know what? We showed some grit yesterday. And so we thought we'd unpack the Julius Randle experience, which is a roller coaster of feelings. Jake, give me your impression so far of the new look Wolves.
You know, coming out 1-1 after 2 road games versus Lakers and Kings, I think that's what should be expected, to be honest. And I think we look clunky. I'm not nervous. After game 1, this happens every year. The panic meter was way too high.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, the Doomers were out in full force in the
it's
subreddit.
Unbelievable. Okay. The Doomers are especially bad for a specific reason, but I want to ask you something to tee this up because I don't know if you know. Who do you think has the second most Instagram followers on our team?
Oh, Chris Finch.
So obviously Ant has the most, but after him, who do you think it is? We got some all-stars who've been in the league a long time.
I would guess. Is this person a starter?
Nope.
Oh dang! Is it Jingles?
Nope. I don't think he'll guess. It's It's not an former all-star. Rob Dillingham.
Oh, I love that.
Dillingham is so famous with kids who like watching like high school highlights and stuff. Yeah. People have been following him for a long time because he's, sick. But all the Dillingham fans come into every Minnesota Timberwolves YouTube video and just roast Finch for being the worst coach ever and not playing him. So I feel like we got especially more Doomers now who are just so upset because Dillingham's not playing because Conley's had a poor start. But so I do feel like the Doomers are in effect. Or were in effect. And it was like this last year. We started off 1-2 last year, and everyone was so down after that Atlanta game. But I think we're fine. We're clunky. Like, even tonight, I don't think we played a great game. There's a lot of stuff to work out. We won. I do like we're getting up threes in a way that we never have in the past few seasons. Mm-hmm. Not since Ryan Saunders. We shot 50 threes tonight. We were 20 for 50. Not tonight, last night. I get confused because I live in Taiwan, so it's my tonight. So I really like how we're shooting the ball, but there just seems to not be much cohesion. In fact, Chris Finch had to go to a lot more set plays, which is what he doesn't want to do, and most Timberwolves fan base wanted to do more of. But I feel like there's just clunkiness. We don't quite have our rhythms figured out as a roster. And so there are times when Ant is settling way too much from 3. And then when he started and I like him shooting a lot of threes, but when he started getting downhill, that's when we looked a lot better, especially in
Yeah.
the fourth quarter.
Oh, fourth quarter Ant was amazing, and I loved uh I loved the last shot. He just took it to the rim, and I think Ant last year would have taken a step back three to ice the game, but instead he got downhill and got fouled. He could have made that shot, but he got fouled pretty hard, and that's what we want.
You're saying exactly what Ant said. He said
Mm,
last year I would have taken a step back three or something. He's like,
nice.
but I'm more mature now. He's like, I
Yeah.
made a mature play. He's like, and,
Yeah. That's so
and he said
good.
that like Finchy would have been mad at him
Yeah.
for taking the step back three, but he got to the line. So no, that was huge.
Yeah. Speaking of
Um,
Ant being out of pocket, did you hear what he said the other day? How if he gets a championship in the first 3 or 4 years, he's gonna go quit and play football.
I love it.
I,
There were so many people roasting it, and it's just
it's
so
like
funny how
this is
everyone
like him.
takes Ant so
I know.
serious.
This is like him saying he's gonna beat the U.S. team in ping pong and swimming.
Yeah,
Um,
it's hilarious. One other concern I have right now is we had three like maybe main things for this season, and they're basically the same three things that like every team says in the preseason. But I actually believe Finch wanted to.
mhm,
They're to, up your transition, shoot more
mhm.
threes, and have more. Don't let it be sticky, is what he always says. But get
Yeah.
more flow, get more pop with the offense, get more um, that kind of a feel. And I feel like the stickiness, the kind of flow, that is will be a work in progress either way. The threes are totally doing, but the transition is not there. We are not pushing. We had so few percentage of our possessions in transition. And I think we have a roster that's more adept to it with DiVincenzo and Randle, but we still haven't got there. I don't think Edwards' inclination is to push in transition. I don't
Mhm.
think that's his natural strength. And Jaden could be better too. Like when they get opportunities, I think they're fine. But I think that's something that was an emphasis, and we have not delivered on it all yet.
Yeah. Um, there are things that like obviously Julius Randle is talented, and we saw that last night. Dude was not going to shoot that well every night, but he just even with the ball, he's strong. He gets to the rim. He makes those little sort of step back in the paint shots. He rebounds, passes, but he is pretty ball dominant. And I think the things that drove me nuts were defensively with him. I mean, I feel like offensively, yeah, he stops the ball. He we need to get better movement. Um, but there are just some defensive lapses, especially against the Lakers, that were very
Against the
like
Lakers, it was
it was
atrocious.
like, dude, I hope he got roasted in film because he missed box outs. Like
That
what's the
free throw box
Reeves?
out was hilariously
I
bad.
know.
I've been in film sessions where there have been similar types of
Hmm.
missed box outs, and it is awkward because everybody just cracks up at how lazy it is.
Yeah. So though I'm sure Finchie will get him into tip top shape. It seems like um yeah, it's a different and this is something that happens every time you make a major trade. People expect the team to gel quicker than it takes. Like you think back to when the Heat made the big three. It took them what, like 13 games to start finally getting some kind of flow. I mean, it takes
It
time.
took them at least 18. They
Yeah.
started off 9-8.
Yeah. So I'm definitely giving us some time, excuse me. But I
One
feel like
huge positive from tonight
yeah,
is was Nas Reed's rebounding.
yeah,
Um,
Nas was great all game.
yeah, he was, but also his rebounding is a real concern. It's something that's never been as good as you feel like it could be. And with Cat was a good rebounder. If something
Hmm.
was in Cat's space, he's gonna get it. He's got like 4 inches or 5 inches on a standing reach over Randle, and he's just a strong dude. So losing Cat, are we gonna be able to rebound when we have Randle and Nas in? Are we gonna be able to guard at all? But also, are we gonna be able to rebound? And I feel like if Nas can continue something with this progression, then that is huge for us because we
Yeah.
we do need that needs to be a viable lineup because we don't have a great playoff option if they don't work out. And they have so much potential offensively because Randle becomes so much more dynamic when he has Nas spacing the floor as the other big. So if Nas can keep that up, that's huge for us.
It will be interesting to see if we'll get some legitimate. I know we will in time, but Dillingham, Minot, Terrence Shannon, kind of these guys who we were really excited about. At what point Finch gives them a look, and the way Conley's been playing, I'm like, why not? Because Conley's been atrocious. He can't hit a shot to save his life. I mean, he hit a couple last night. Finally broke through the curse, the slump. But I'd love to see those guys get some minutes, maybe in games that aren't so intense. But that'll be interesting.
I think they will. It's early in the season. The biggest thing is I still think we should have given Minot the 6-minute look over Jingles, but
Yeah,
Jingles got cooked so hard on his first possession tonight. It was kind of embarrassing. And I know what Jingles provides offensively in theory, but he is not a fast dude. He makes slow-mo look like slow-mo can move.
I know. He looks like a guy at the YMCA. It's so funny. What are your impressions of JJ Redick, his first coaching gig? I mean, it's a small sample size, but I haven't seen the Lakers that motivated, play with that intensity in a long time.
Fantastic. I mean, what's the number one thing a coach has to do is get the team to buy in.
Yep.
So even if you think like it's all hype or whatever, all the team clearly believes in it. And that's the most important thing you can do. Even if the ship is going in the wrong direction, if everybody's rowing, they'll still win a lot of games. So I believe, I think there's a good chance JJ has some good philosophies and they'll keep up shooting more threes and doing some of the things he's wanting to do. But they clearly are bought in, which at the end of the season, they were not bought in at all with Darvin Ham.
Yeah, for sure. I love the way he was talking to Ant, like trash talking him a little bit. And I love the way I thought he handled the Bronny thing pretty good. Really wish Bronny would have made that shot. It would have been pretty awesome. But I'm in a fantasy league, and there's an over under. Does Bronny see over under 10 NBA games this year? And I took the over only because
easy.
Because it's just the narrative.
Over.
It's the narrative.
Okay. The only way it goes under is if they send her to G League a bunch, which is probably
will
smart.
Happen.
But LeBron doesn't know how many years he has left, and there's a lot of blowout games.
Yep.
You look.
That's what I said. Garbage time.
Right. That's all you need. 10 garbage time games is nothing.
I know.
That's like 1 in 8. Are you kidding me? Yeah, you're going to get he's going to for sure get 10 games. Great bet.
Yeah, I think so too. So our Lakers look good. I felt like the Nuggets, Russell Westbrook was not the savior. They looked tough, but OKC looked awesome. But I'm interested to see how the Nuggets can win games with literally zero depth. I mean, they are so bad. Their second five is so brutal. Outside of the KU kid, Christian Brown.
Didn't Brown start?
He might have. I didn't watch.
I think he's a starter at this point. Julian Strother might be all right. Westbrook will provide, something. Maybe.
Is Porter hurt? Does he come off the bench?
No, but they need a KCP replacement.
Oh, I guess you're right. Yeah, crazy. Well, I'm less scared of the Nuggets than I am the Thunder right now. Chet looked unbelievable. That one block to dunk was insane. Shout out Apple Valley.
Jalen Williams looked pretty bad.
Yeah. But overall,
I mean, Chet is a Minnesota boy, so
I know I'm all about it.
I'm so anti-Thunder because I want to beat them, but it's hard not to feel some pride when Chet does well.
I also noticed that Clay was horrible in the preseason, but was like, all right, now I'm just going to go score 20 points and look awesome.
Yeah. It's just, the preseason it's tough to extrapolate. I think
Mhm.
unless it's like a young player that you haven't seen,
Yeah.
like that's kind of a different thing because they're kind of still building their game. But from established veterans struggling, Klay Thompson doesn't give a crap about the preseason. I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm just not tripping on that stuff.
Yeah.
Um, I think another important thing to talk about is we were
Mhm.
kind of getting into it over texting about Jaden.
Oh yeah.
Uh, and I think this happened last year too.
I
I think
know.
you have felt frustrations with Jaden,
Hmm.
and I've been a little bit more defensive of him. So do you want to just
Yeah, yeah.
quickly state your
Here's
concerns?
here's here's what I know. I know Jaden has that defensive edge when he's. I mean, obviously got in foul trouble against the Lakers, but typically he's an elite defender and um, has potential to develop as an offensive player. But it's really, really, I find it really frustrating when your supposed 3-and-D guys um, always seem to miss the critical shots. And for some reason, his late game wide open threes, they just hit different. And I just like so many times we'll have a great ball move, a great play, critical shot, Jaden gets it, boink. I don't know if it's I don't like the way I don't like his shooting form or what it is, but I just never have confidence that it's going in. And I know that doesn't always play with the numbers for his long-term career. He had a really good season. Once shot 38, I think, before the
He
hand
was
injury.
40% 2 years ago.
Yeah, before the hand injury. Um, but since the hand injury, it's just been tough. And here's what I think I'm feeling is we're gonna have to pay him.
We already did.
Oh, we already did.
He's on a pretty good contract.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's good. Well, that makes me feel better. I thought we were going to pay him this year.
No. We're paying him now, and we're paying him decent amount. But it's a you look at what other people are signing. I think it's a
Yeah.
value
Well,
contract.
that's big
Personally,
then. That's big. I feel a lot better then. Um,
so let me give my
yeah.
opinion on this because I think most of Timberwolves fandom is on a scale of frustration leads more towards where you're at.
Yeah.
If we're going to be elite, we need him to be a better shooter because we have Rudy Gobert and Julius Randle. So I'm not denying that.
Hmm.
I think last year was such a funky year for him. He got several like weird small injuries throughout the season, and I think it just threw him off. He had the hand injury, and then supposedly he was so concerned about his contract situation and getting hurt, especially when he had just hurt his hand, that he really didn't do much last offseason, or two off seasons ago. It was just kind of a weird situation with all that. But now that he's gotten paid, now that he's not dealing with the injury, everybody says he has a great offseason. I think that his shooting, I don't know. I'm not saying he's going to be 40%, but I don't think he's going to be 33% again. I think he'll
Hmm.
probably settle in to something in between.
I mean, league
And
average is acceptable. I think
and
it's
I
just obviously these last two games he's been broke.
he also he's been so good in the playoffs. And I
Hmm.
think that he's an archetype that improves in the playoffs. So in the playoffs, defensive bigs like Gobert are valuable still. Like they're huge, but they do regress a little bit in how much that rim protection value can be compared to the regular season as teams scheme differently. But those long versatile wings like Jaden, who's top class of the league on ball and awesome off ball and can guard so many positions, they become even more valuable postseason. So I just think that he has a game that he's going to have some, frustrating nights because he's not this super dynamic
Yep.
offensive player at this point. But I think I think you got to like, people are too quick. Because I was, after game one, the most reputable Timberwolves podcast, they were like Dane Moore, they were saying, put him on the bench, don't have him guard their best player. And I cannot believe that. I think that is a just
Yeah.
wild overreaction. He
Yeah.
is. We were so good defensively last year because of
Hmm.
Gobert, but also because of Jaden. He's the second reason why.
Yep.
And people talk about how huge of a team we are. Well, without Jaden, we're not really that huge.
Yeah.
We start Devo and we're kind of small,
Yep.
honestly. I just think he is such a part of our identity. And I don't know. He he's not a 3-and-D guy. I don't think he is. I think he has the potential to be a good three-point shooter, but he's more of like he's really good at cutting. He can dunk straight vert. He gets like a lot
Hmm.
of other kind of weird baskets. He's got that rocking chair mid-range game. So I just think Jaden, it's not always pretty, but his value sometimes you don't see all of it because of sometimes the ugliness of him missing shots can stand out more than what he's doing defensively.
Yeah. No, I think there needs to be a bigger a bigger period of time before we start making too hot of takes on Jaden. I just found that, and it's funny because when Devo is shooting, even though he was 1 for 7, I like the shots he was shooting. I think he'll figure it out. He just needs to get his rhythm, and he's kind of a dog. I just like the way he plays. I think we got Raptors coming up, and then we should win that game. It's at home, and then we have the Mavericks at home, which is a revenge game, and it's
I'm
TNT, so
excited for that.
it'll be a prime time. We should have Sam Down on afterwards or Keith Kiesler or someone who likes the Mavs that we know. And
Keith Kiesler's a Mavs fan.
I know, gross, right? So gross. Um,
Mom needs to quit her master's program.
I agree. I agree. Um, good stuff, man. All right. Anything else before we wrap this up?
Yeah. Okay. Last thing.
Yeah.
This is really important. The Gobert extension.
Hmm.
So we signed him. He opted out of his player option, signed 3 years, 110 million. We don't know all the details. We know there's a trade kicker. But a better way to think about it isn't 110 million new dollars. It's 63 million new dollars because he opted out of 47 for next year and is probably taking more like 33 instead,
Mm.
which means we have a lot of optionality to re-sign players. We can re-sign Nas. We could re-sign probably either Na or Julius if we wanted to, or we could do something else and still stay below the second apron. So in the immediate, it makes things really great. Now, when he's 35 and Ant's entering his prime, I'm a little nervous. Like, I don't know that Gobert is the right archetype to maximize Ant
Yeah.
offensively. That's the concern. Now, defensively, obviously, it helps a ton, and I think the contract is a good deal. It's worth it. The argument against it, I think, is would this contract have been there still at the end of the year? Like, we could have gotten a better idea of how it looks this year and then made that decision. I don't know that anything would have changed, but Gobert's the kind of guy who can kind of get in his head where I think it's probably worth it to just take care of it. So he's not thinking about the contract stuff all year. So overall, I think it's a win, and it gives us a lot of flexibility. I just do think there's a chance that at the end of that contract, he he won't be worth the value that we're paying him, but it's really not that bad. It'll only be like 20% of the cap.
Yeah. It'll be interesting, man. I trust in Conley, and Conley we trust. Not Mike Conley. I mean, we'll get there with him. He needs to prove it though. Well, Tim Conley making decisions. Point guard is going to be a topic of concern for us down the road. But I already know the perfect player for Ant, dude.
Darius
Carl
Garland.
Anthony
Oh,
Towns, man.
come home,
That
man.
should come home, dude. And he's gonna come. He's gonna come home with and just sign like $1 million contract, just so we can sign a bunch of other people.
I am serious though. I think Darius Garland's stock is so much lower than it should be.
That's the guy
I
you
would have
want.
been pushing buttons to see because I think he is a great person who could. I know people don't think he works as well next to D Mitch, but that's because they're both so small in part.
Yeah.
His ability to be effective off ball and on ball, I thought he'd be interesting. And I just thought he was so undervalued. He's way better than you look at the player rankings and some of the people he was lower than Derek Lively
Mm.
on I don't know if it's ESPN or Ringer, but on the player rankings, which to me
Yeah,
is the most absurd thing I've ever heard.
that is
But
silliness.
such is life.
Even though did cook us in the playoffs. Dang it, Derek Lively in my nightmares. All right, good stuff, brother. Got some good games coming up. Hopefully, I won't sound like I have a frog in my throat. We'll be able to bring the energy, but it's fun to watch real non-preseason games. The intensity, both games, was there. I mean, obviously, we look lackadaisical against the Lakers, but the games feel like every game matters right now.
We got to say, this game was amazing to watch in terms of entertainment value. It was all runs back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
It was epic.
Yeah, no, I had a lot of fun, and when we took the lead, and Ant hit that step back three, that was just butter frosting, man, butter frosting.
So good, dude.
All right, well, shout out to Anthony Edwards. Shout out to Julius Randle versus the Kings.
So good, man.
Shout out to our man Rob Dillingham, dude. We need to get him in. We need to petition Finchy, and I know he's that old school coach. He's got to make them rookies earn it. You know how it is. But shout out to Jingles, and Timberwolves basketball's back. You know what I'm saying? Let's go.
Let's go, man.
Can I get a ooh?
What you think about the new guy, Julius
Oh, my
Randle.
God. Hey, we told him this morning, man, hey, don't fit around us. We're going to fit around you. And he showed us today.
He sure did. He came out here when I saw you sitting with the players in the timeouts, you were going up to Dante and Julius, and you were talking to them. That leadership was impactful. Tell us about that.
Man, you know it's important, man, to just have your teammates back. You ain't going to make shots every game, and we got to weather the storm, man, and it's all about the team. And we hung out, had on defense tonight. You know, we was down in a third by 10, and we couldn't really put the ball in the rim at a high level tonight, so we hung out, had on defense, and it helped us.
We really saw your defense kick in that third quarter. This team coming together, we knew it was going to take a minute with the new faces, but do you feel like now this team is gelling?
I feel like with Julius being himself, we're going to be trouble.